Let's talk about what you can expect when you hire a personal injury lawyer. Travis, we were talking about some of the things that come up when you talk to a personal injury lawyer for the first time. So what are the three kind of broad categories that you generally look for when you're giving a consult, when you're finding out if someone has an injury, an accident, something that you can help with? What are you looking for?
So in an initial consult with a potential client, you'll want to know, were they at fault or who was at fault?
Right.
What are the injuries and how significant are they? And is there a source of recovery? So the way that our personal injury system is set up, you can't undo, if you hurt somebody, you can't unbreak their leg.
Right.
You can't uncrack their skull. They can't undo the injury.
Right.
So what our legal system does allow for is money compensation. Right. It doesn't undo the harm, but it's the best system we have. So the question is there money? Right. So how significant are your injuries, and is there a source of money for that?
Right.
You can't recover in Virginia if it's your fault. Now, but we're going to give a caveat to that.
Well, yeah. So we talked about contributory negligence in a separate video. Generally, you can't recover if it's your fault. However, that's more of this. It's a rule when you file a lawsuit, but frankly, when you start talking to an insurance company, that's just a factor in their risk assessment, right?
They just weigh that.
Because juries can do whatever they're going to do. And so anytime you go to trial, you're rolling the dice. Now, some contributory negligence might be more clear-cut than others. And so, but you should talk to a lawyer to kind of see where that line might be in your case and kind of give you that clear-eyed view of, well, no, I mean, you contributed to this accident. It's very clear. You're not going to recover anything.
Or you caused it.
Right, or you caused it.
Okay, so those are the things we want, and like we're going to look for in an initial consult with a client. So what can you do if you're going in to meet with an attorney, right, to make that initial meeting more beneficial? And if you don't have all this stuff, that's fine, but what are some things you should have if you can?
Well, so let's talk about this who's at fault piece, right? So you'd want to come in prepared to say, look, this is the date of the injury. This is what happened. Sometimes there are news articles. Sometimes you got a copy of the accident report that was generated. You'd want to bring all of that information in so that you're ready to kind of move on that. Secondly, then we're going to look at the extent of the damages. So if you've already started to seek medical help, you're going to want to bring the name and information of the doctor you saw. If you were taken in an ambulance to the hospital, try to get that paperwork as well and bring that in, because that's going to streamline how quickly your lawyer can really get a view of what's happening in your case. Finally, when it comes to insurance coverage, you probably don't have access to the other driver's policies, but bring your own, right? So that we can kind of get started on that to see how much coverage there is. And then regardless of whether or not the other person, the other vehicle driver is insured or whatever your accident may be, you typically in Virginia will have some level of uninsured or underinsured motorist insurance. And so by bringing your own policy, your lawyer can quickly see, okay, what happened and who's at fault? How bad are the injuries? And is there any money? Because even if you have the world's worst injuries, but there's no insurance coverage and no money at all, there's not much that a lawyer can do to really help you. We'll encounter clients occasionally who just want vengeance, but vengeance can be expensive, and most lawyers aren't, they're not going to go out and file a case and spend a lot of time for no, recovery at all, because lawyers work on a contingency fee basis, which means that we only get paid when we recover something for you.
And that's another thing to expect when you go to a consult, which is this: a personal injury attorney is not going to charge you.
They should not charge for the consult.
Charging you for a consult or asking you for any money, right, up front. It's going to be a percentage of the recovery.
Right.
Now, you said bring that stuff, and I'll just say, or send it, right? You might not be really in a condition where you're wanting to like come into an office or something.
It's 2023. You can make a phone call. You can send via email.
Right. Yeah. You can email those documents.
We very much appreciate using the computer.